I'm John. Welcome back to Science Fiction Create. I was just putting away some stock plywood and gave me the idea that I should give you a tour around my workshop, the place I fondly call the lab. It's small, but it works. And it works because I put a lot of thought into where everything should go, how I can move stuff around to economize the space, and how I can store raw materials like wood and plastic and metal. So let me finish up putting this stock up there, then I'll meet you back here to show you around the lab. Stay tuned. Here's an overview of the lab. What I thought I'd do is start on the left and go clockwise around my space, showing you step by step what's going on in each of these sections. Here we go. I have these, most of these drawers labeled, and in them are pretty familiar things. I've been fortunate enough to accumulate a wide range of hand tools over the years, and I keep a majority of those in this location here. The old standby, the Stanley Power Lock, my favorite. I also keep a lot of things attached in this area by magnets. I would say magnets are the number 2 most important tool in organizing a shop. I'll tell you what number 1 is shortly. That's the center of it. If we look up, we have even more up here. I keep things like my Cinco nailers, heat gun, those kinds of things. Down below, I have any number of other tools too, painting. I like to keep things compartmentalized, and that's one of the biggest tricks of working in a small space. Okay, let's move on to the next place, which I like to call mission control. My central workspace, so I actually built this when I lived in St. Louis, of all places, and moved this workbench with me. I work on electronics. These drawers up here mostly include components for electronics works, like capacitors, paintbrushes, pencils, adhesives, cutting. I also keep, precision instruments like small needle nose pliers and side cutters. Voltmeter, have my oscilloscope for those rare times where I'm diagnosing problems, lubricants, and my soldering stations here. Also my computer and my screen. This is where I edit material, handy device. All right, next station. This next spot, right down the street from Mission Control, I'm calling hardware. It's where I keep my drawers of various size bolts and screws and other fasteners. Such a wide variety of things in a limited number of cubbies. It's a big deal. It's something I continually have to work at. Technically, this is door number 1 to the outside. I have a poster over the window here of drill hole sizes, which is quite handy. Incidentally, this is a cutout from it was a template for a piñata I made for my son. I make piñatas every year for his birthday. And this was actually a zombie that he drew, and I scaled up to create the piñata. Door number 1 is, wait for it, the laundry room. And you can see behind me this hose running along, but that goes to my air compressor. Here in the corner of our laundry room to minimize the noise. That's door number 1. I have this bank of lockers here that I picked up, I think again in St. Louis, and they came with me. They're terrific. I actually use them as lockers. Over here I have my shop apron that you often see me wearing. My son has his own cubby too, just like the lockers at school. Up above that, of course, you always stack stuff up. Handy books that I like to have, practical electronics for inventors, Arduino project, ham radios and antennas, things like that. Resources that I occasionally go to. This, incidentally, is a AT-AT, an Imperial Walker from Star Wars that I was building to scale for the 3 3/4 inch action figures. Ran into a bit of a technical problem. The weight of it was weighing down the legs, and the way I had them, they would articulate. Anyway, the long and short of that problem has literally been shelved. I hope to pick it back up in the near future and get it going. The pinatas I made for my son, this is a Job of the Hutt. You can see it definitely took a few hits. I might do a project doing paper mache. It's not all wood, metal, and plastic. Sometimes we use paper too. Door number 2. Good stuff's always happening in here. Hey buddy, what are you doing?
Cooking.
Nice. Have fun.
Okay.
If any place in the lab needs improvement, it's what's behind these curtains. I drape these moving blankets here for 2 reasons. One, it helps absorb sound and improve the sound quality for making videos like this. The other reason is it hides a lot of junk. I will show you a peek. It's not as disastrous as I made it sound. But I have things like a chop saw that I never use, and some storage, snow chains for my car. All right, that's the black curtain. Moving on down. I've been able to squeeze in a lot of lumber into a really tight space. On top, as you saw me in the beginning of this episode, it's where I store my plywood. These 2.5 by 5 foot sections fit really neatly up here. I keep 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and 5/8 inch wood always in stock here in the lab. It's rare if ever I need a piece longer than this of the 1/8 inch stock, but I have quite a bit of it too on hand. I also have links of some hardwood, a bit of maple in here, softwoods, quite a bit of pine, and this is also where I keep my lengths of plastic of various sizes. Here's one that I just used for the chainsaw. That's the piece I cut that assembly out of for the Evil Dead chainsaw. This is a long sheet of, I think, marine grade. I think it's marine grade, high density polyethylene. And then also various pieces of acrylic. This looks to be tinted, smoke gray acrylic projects. So I keep all that here as well. And then tucked in the end there, I have a lot of lengths of aluminum, metal rod, sheet aluminum. I also keep some stored back there on the bottom. Anyway, this is the yard. This is where I keep my stock. Good stuff. This is a good opportunity to talk a little bit about my lighting. These LEDs are terrific. I can turn them on. I have 4 of these strung up, and I can adjust them to change the overall lighting depending on my shot, what I need to be able to see with my work. You can see how dramatically it changes the view by just switching the on and off. Oftentimes I'll switch the light on for my garage door opener too. It adds a bit of a warmer touch to it. Flip this one off. The great thing is I have quite a bit of flexibility with all of these. And then I actually use a number of these as well when I'm trying to get a really studio looking effect, whether I'm taking some close-ups of some projects that I built, or I just need to get a little bit better lighting on the subject. I'll rig those up as well. So having some flexibility in how we light things is great. The other thing I want to point out is this rig that I set up. The garage door actually extends all the way up to here. The garage door actually goes up and over that rigging, but it has support so the light can be there. But it's also something that I can mount other things on. This is a piece of 1/4-20 all thread, which is the size that you use for camera mounts. I'm actually using the camera mount on this selfie stick right now, but it can go here for overhead shots when I work at mission control. Lighting's a big deal, and I'm quite pleased with this system and the flexibility that it provides. The main space where I make, it's small. I don't have a lot of room to work, and things have to be mobile. Remember I mentioned the second most important thing for a small shop are magnets? The number one important thing for a small shop, wheels. Circular saw, router, jigsaws. Got my cordless drill there. This is great. The best part about it is I can wheel it out of the way. And I can wheel these other things into position where I need to. This is my drill press. This is a project that I'm going to feature on Science Fiction Created in a very near future episode. The way I was able to make this thing stable and not worry about it pushing over is the bottom has ballast in it. Really pleased at that and excited to share that with you here in the near future. Fantastic to have a large piece of equipment like this mobile, so I can move around, move it out of the way, move it to a place that's going to minimize mess, all that kind of stuff. That's right, I can wheel out this thing weighs 300 pounds. With all this equipment like table saws and band saws and routers, anyone who's used that stuff knows that those are messy tools. I'm able to keep it clean because this is not the only place that I work, and this equipment, while I keep it in here, I don't use it in here. This is one of the best features of my lab. Everybody, let me introduce you to the annex. As you can see, I can move things like this dust maker, the table saw, out of the shop and move it into the annex, which is fantastic. I like to set up my shots this way, incidentally, because it shows the shop, which is cooler than just these wood walls of the annex. You can hear that my neighborhood's pretty noisy. We have everything from roaring cars to chirping birds to my neighbor blaring Christian rock music. That being what it is, the annex is just a lifesaver in terms of keeping dust down, making a good environment to really do the dirty work and move back in and do the fine tuning inside the lab proper. While I'm here, let me show you how I rig up my power. So the saw, again, is on wheels, and I keep this, I have my router table installed. I should show you that too. Another one of my projects that I'll feature in an upcoming build. It's really awesome. I can use the fence from the table saw to use my router. It works really well. I plug them into this 3-prong. I also have space here for, I think it's the third thing plugged in. Oh, it's an extension cord that I can use to hook my bandsaw onto if I need to. Here's one other thing. This is just a remote for an outlet. And that's how I run my shop vac. You hear it out there. It's just operated by this switch, and that actually goes outside. I'll do a B-roll shot of that as well. Number 2 most important thing, next in line behind wheels, I can put it on whatever tool I'm using, hook up to the vac, so I can kick that on easily, again, reducing the dust. It goes over here just as effectively on the bandsaw or anywhere else I need it. Here's the annex outside my house. As you can see, I have it painted the same color as the house. Let's see if I can easily, I won't bother taking it out, but you can see I have it stuffed in there with the remote switch on there. These panels work well too, and I also have a roof. And on top of that, I have sealer on top of it that makes it quite weatherproof. It's rained pretty hard since I've put this up. And it's kept out the rain. The cool thing is I can take it down in about less than 20 minutes. It's just bolted together with wing nuts. Maybe it looks big on camera, maybe it doesn't. It's hard for me to say, but I do a lot in this small space. It's awesome. I call it the lab because I love it. I love it because it feels like home. It's a good place to work and create. I hope you like it too. I hope you enjoy what I'm making. I hope you enjoy what I'm sharing. And I hope you're excited to see more coming out of this little place. So with that in mind, stay tuned. There's a lot in store in Science Fiction Create coming up in the next several weeks and months, and I'm excited to share it with you. I hope you tune in. Until next time, take care, everyone. The problem is my neighborhood's noisy. The guy's playing music. That ain't my kind of music.